Hey, what's up everyone? Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye here. By the title of this video, there is leaked information about the Canon 80D. That would be the upgrade from the 70D, which was the upgrade of the 60D. So let's just talk about some of these specs, and I do like to talk about specs and rumors and everything. It's an interesting discussion point, but this is at the time with the Sony a6300 coming out, which, is stepping up from the a6000, which is huge. Nikon had their D500 and their D5, so kind of the D500 range, this would match this. But will the 80D be something exciting for it? Let's break down some of the rumored specs, which this might even be released in a couple of days, if not a week or so. Let's break this down. Let's talk about it. Is it useful? So as I was saying, this is an upgrade from the 70D, but this all started at the 60D, which is one of the most popular, at least YouTube cameras, and even some of the vloggers started doing this even before Casey Neistat really kind of started. And you got something with 18 megapixels. It was a crop sensor. It was a new Digic 4 image processor. I think they're at like 6 or 6 plus now, so there is a huge leap, which we'll check out with the 70D, obviously. And it had one of the best articulating screens at the time that you could come out and use. That's why it was so popular. It's technically discontinued for the most part, but then it was the 70D, which came out in 2013. And as you see right here, it was a slight bump in megapixels. It jumped from the Digic 4 image processor to the 5 Plus. There was a couple year gap in between there, and they developed that technology. But one of the best things that they, in with this was their dual pixel CMOS AF review, and that really helped autofocusing and everything like that. It introduced a touchscreen in one of their first cameras kind of at that point, so that was really huge, and it was very angle and everything. So this was amazing in 2013. That's why a lot of people like a Casey Neistat would use something like this. The autofocusing is phenomenal. Essentially kind of the same thing like the 7D Mark II, just a little bit different, but that's the current camera right now. It's $1,000. But the 80D, this is leak specs and everything like that. I found this on Photorec Toby's website, and there's a bunch of other websites, but I'll link this down below, so go check out more information. But we're going to break it down. The 80D, will it be something, to look at? So 70D is currently 5 plus image processor, which is pretty fast. I think they're at the 6 or something right now. 20 megapixels, touchscreen, 1080p, 30 frames a second. This wasn't 4K. Once again, this was 2013. And you can kind of see everything right here, 7 frames per second. So everything right now is around 20 megapixels, 24 megapixels, 4K video, essentially higher frame rates on a Ultra HD 1080p at like 60 or 120 frames per second is kind of what we're getting towards with all these different kinds of autofocusing things. So here are some of the rumored specs. Here are some of the cameras. Essentially, there's going to be just a little bit of a dial change and a little bit of the viewfinder to be a little bit sharper. But some of the specs, and it's obviously a little bit more, you would see it's the 24 megapixels. So you kind of see the slight bump. They're kind of hopefully in the same range as like the a6300 in that matter. 7 frames per second. So it's going to be similar, to that. The 7D Mark II is a little bit faster. Autofocusing points are still a little lacking. ISO 100 to 16,000, which I'm sure will be fine. But obviously, this is a crop sensor body. Flickerless shooting, cool, awesome. So it's really just, I don't know, it's really just a blend of everything from the 70D and a little bit of the like autofocusing and everything from the 7D Mark II. The interesting thing, it's not changing its touchscreen or its monitor. It's still going to be full articulation with touchscreen, so we say. But the interesting part is it's not going to do 4K. It's going to do 1080p most likely at 60 frames per second. So Canon would technically still be behind the ball. Do they need 4K necessarily? At this point, the Nikon D500, be it if you do like or not like how it works in those cameras, they do 4K. So they would be actually behind Nikon a little bit in regards to the video market, which would be very, very interesting. And there'll be, some other stuff here, maybe more customization. And Toby makes a great point here. He goes, interesting that the 80D is coming out with it without one single firmware update to the 70D since 2013. So, I'm sure this camera will come out at about $1,200 to $1,300. As you kind of see, the original price right here before the savings is $1,200 as well. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be that different. And it's just very interesting to me that it might be that way. Once again, these aren't fully official. When this is official, I'll have my official reaction first, thoughts to this. But I do hope that they do something a little bit more, maybe a little bit I don't know, maybe they need to put in some kind of 4K or something to keep up with the time. It just seems like there's almost no point to releasing this except maybe with a little bit of a different imaging processor. But other than that, there's nothing that's jumping off exciting me. But we'll leave that there. And when everything official comes out, we'll really dive into it and really react to it as well. And I'm hopefully getting my A6300 soon, so maybe I can get my hands on this, and maybe we'll do a side-by-side whenever this comes out. That's just spitballing right now. So if you're a Canon shooter, is this 80D something you'd be excited for if these are the true specs? To me, I don't know. I don't think it's anything to be really excited for, except it's just a little bit newer. So be that as it may, it's 2016, newer technology, better warranty compared to your 2013 70D model. Let me know down below if these are specs that you're excited or just about anything in general.